take a moment, that was a bit, yeah. I've watched that video so many times in preparing this presentation, but it still gets me. Alright, so I do have some recommendations for further reading if this is an area that you're interested in, or that you want to know more about. You know, I think this has been part of my own research and things, but it's also been part of my journey autobiographically and spiritually and everything else. I really want to recommend Julie Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. I have a copy here if anyone wants to flick through it. It's amazing because it's a beautiful book, but it's also, I think, 12-week course. So you get to like do it, you know, implement kind of strategies. So it's self-help-zilla. It's very intense. Also, Dr. Susan Forward in the 80s published a book called Toxic Parents. So that touches on a little bit of that difference between you know, controlling and enmeshment versus just having a stable, secure, you know, like I care about you deeply, but you can be your own person sort of relationship between children and parents, and letting someone be the apprentice rather than the orphan. Sir Ken Robinson's TED Talk, "Do Schools Kill Creativity?" Spoiler alert, they do. Yeah, it's something I care about a lot is, you know, academia and, you know, education of, you know, and arts. So that leads me on to Vasilisa Kamensky. He was a teacher back in the day, and, had a really awesome theory about an aesthetic and moral education. So, you know, artistic and creative experiences with young people, a little bit of that, like, let's look at metal and drink coffee and, you know, like be humans together. So the podcast that is held by Alan Cockrell, who's also a researcher in this area, Educating the Heart, Head and Hands, really recommend that. And then go and watch The Iron Giant and also Kiki's Delivery Service, because they're beautiful, wholesome family movies, and they're great, and just beautiful art. So I wanted to also just link in with the people that I work with. Obviously, I'm repping BrookRED, who made this possible, and yeah, to also just think, like, in particular Donna Humphrey, but just everyone at BrookRED who, yeah, Donna was super on board with this presentation when it was just like a concept. Well, might like just be, it might be nice, and just, yeah, do it. So yeah, really appreciate BrookRED stuff. I've got some information out on that front table there for Get Real, but also Alive, and they're doing some amazing work in youth suicide prevention, you know, just outreach and some awesome stuff. Happy to speak to that. And there's also a copy of the Live Life Fully movement book, which is out there, written by the CEO of this company, which is just life hacks for teenagers, but it's along those like attitudes of, you know, being your own person and just, you know, that sort of stuff. Also Videnda, look them up, particularly the Being Heard workshop is the main thing that they operate through. It's being heard as in a herd of elephants. It was the pun that got me, right? I was like, these guys made a pun, I'm in. But they do amazing stuff. I speak for their company in school workshops across the state. And lastly, a shameless plug for my initiative. So it's not really mine. We're a group of people, so a peer-run collective of creative practitioners. Not, I mean, mostly visual artists like myself, but musicians and designers and all sorts of cool people who all have lived experience of mental health concerns, chronic health conditions, and/or disability, or you can be triple threat like me. That's our Facebook page, and our Instagram is nothing on Instagram at the moment. But yeah, if you want to follow along with what I do and what people in the space do creatively, that'd be really rad. And don't hesitate if you want to either contact us via the Facebook page or hit me up about anything arts related or philosophically meandering stuff that I talked about today. Please do. And yeah, I think I've got how much more time for